Welcome back to Dusty Gamers, the endless Final Fantasy marathon. I'm still playing Final Fantasy 2. I'm chilling in the town of Mysidia. I have this major plot point coming up, so I thought I'd record it because it's interesting in that they sort of reuse this plot in later Final Fantasies. What I'm beginning to realize, sort of, with Final Fantasy 4 is there's a lot of things I like about Final Fantasy 4 that didn't come from Final Fantasy 4. Like, they're really amazing things that happen in the game, and it's still such a great game. But some of these moments, they basically were like, we could do that better. Well, let's try again. This next thing that pops up. Well, I mean, I just left a town full of mages, which is like the first time you see that in Final Fantasy, and then that reappears in Final Fantasy 4. This next thing that pops up is something that happens both in Final Fantasy 4 and then again in Final Fantasy 5 in a completely different way. Come on. And so I'm about to enter the Tower of Mysidia. This game's still stupidly hard, by the way. I'm using all the exploits in the book, everything you could possibly do to make this game easier. I am on it. Honestly, I don't understand how anybody plays this game normal. So I'm supposed to go to this tower that's north of here. And normally you come to this tower and you can't get into it, but I got this crystal rod thing that's going to let me get into the tower. Except this happens. Which sort of you get attacked in Final Fantasy 4 in a very similar way. It's kind of cool. What you find out is this crystal rod there's been many crystal rods, and anytime anybody's tried to approach the tower, this Leviathan has eaten them. So you've lost your fourth partner, and you're inside this Leviathan. They've done different versions of this where you get attacked. Basically, Final Fantasy 4 is built on this idea of stuff happening to your party and your party getting split up and you having to form a new party. And I remember the very first time somebody was critical to me about Final Fantasy 4. They were like, I get sick of the game constantly taking my party members away and giving them to and giving me new people that are weak and stealing my equipment and stuff. And I hadn't even heard an insult about the game at that point, so it was kind of funny. I was taken aback by it. I was like, what? You have a problem with the perfect game? This game, you constantly have the three main characters, but it's always rotating out this fourth character, which is it is kind of annoying. With Final Fantasy 4, at least, each of the segments in the game where your party is move around, you get new different characters, felt like different parts, different chapters of the story. So it was oh, well, now I have this group of party members. I just have to make it from point A to point B in this chapter, and I'll have a new group of party members. And eventually it settles down with the final 5 members of your party. Final Fantasy 6 blows that out even further and gives you, a completely massive rotating cast of characters that is pretty much never-endingly changing. You're splitting that party up, and you got, multiple parties doing the same thing at the same time, different places, the same caves. I don't have a map for this. It's really interesting to me. Final Fantasy 2 got skipped over to America. And it's kind of fun to see where some of these little things came from. I'm about to come up on the first Dragoon, which is a dragon rider in Final Fantasy, and he looks exactly like Kain from Final Fantasy 4. I mean, he looks so similar. And then of course I mentioned earlier the chocobos, which become a staple of Final Fantasy here in this game. The Dark Knights, which are The other part of Final Fantasy IV that was super amazing is Dark. That you start off with Kane. You start off with Kane and you start off with Cecil, and Cecil's a Dark Knight and Kane's a Dragoon, and they pretty much like their stories are like the main stories of the game. The whole game revolves around them. When they're kind of, it's sort of the whole light and darkness thing from, you know, Star Wars. They're basically, you know, different versions of the Jedi. They're both dark at the beginning, but, you know, holy shit. I had to take a break there. So I went and looked at the map because I didn't want to get myself all screwed up and like die in this. It seems like it's a pretty straightforward. It's 3 tunnels and then you're out of this thing. It's still pretty crazy to have you get swallowed by a Leviathan. Very Moby Dick. Final Fantasy IV, or maybe even 3, starts having summoners more in it, where you like summon the dragons and stuff. This one doesn't really have much of that, so Leviathan at this point is sort of just a giant lizard instead of the weird underwater god thing that he becomes later in the series. I spent so much time grinding this game. I can't even believe, like, I really want to get done with it, but like I'm kind of brute forcing at this point. I'm hoping I've grinded enough to where I can kind of chill out and just beat these levels. I picked up this blood sword thing that's apparently going to make it really easy for me to kill the boss of the game, which will be hilariously opposite of the last game, which was stupidly easy until I got to the boss. Oh look, there's people under here. Ha! I found a town inside the Leviathan. Hey, you're inside the Leviathan, pal! How you doing? Apparently a Canadian. We were swallowed by that monster of a snake. Oh yeah, that shit happens. Power armlet. Yeah, let's do that. This guy looks exactly like Kane. I don't ask Wild Rose, no. Ultima. No. Dragoons. Yeah. Ask Windrake. Ask. I don't fucking know what I need to do here. Mycidia? Aha. Ask. Mask? Oh fuck. Did I not just like everything? Maybe the crystal rod? Could be the crystal rod. Aha! Yeah, crystal rod. I guess I should just went with my gut feeling. Where the fuck is this thing? There we go. Let's get out of this creature. So this is pretty cool. Gareth. Apparently he's named like Richard, Ricardo, something like that in the other one. He's Ricard. Just R-I-C-A-R-D, Ricard. In some of the other translations, for some reason his name's changed quite a bit. He should definitely be using a lance, I think. What the fuck? Lance? No, he's got an 8-4 sword. Well, that doesn't seem kosher to me. Let's see, get out of here. So there's all these people have been swallowed up by this Leviathan. It swallowed me too! Gotta kill a monster that's blocking the exit. So there's a monster blocking the exit inside the mouth of the Leviathan. So I'm inside a monster that swallowed me. And now I gotta kill a monster to get out. He's been here for 10 years. They all have crystal rods. Do you want to see their crystal rods? Oh my gosh. I gotta get out of here. There's a bunch of pervs. So is that it? Yeah, I'm in the teeth now. There's an amazing shield and blade in this area. And then I can fucking kill something and get the fuck out of here. He doesn't, I mean, he looks a lot like Kane, but he doesn't have the jump. Which is, I mean, if you're doing a Dragoon in any of the other Final Fantasies, they're the ones that jump up in the air and then land on people, which is why they're so cool. And then, it gets kind of ridiculous in some of the other games with, you know, like bouncing up and down multiple times and shit. It's fun making the Moogles jump in Final Fantasy VI, watching the little furry Moogle guys drop in and bounce on people, throw lance. So part of one of the many bazillion reasons this game's easier than the original is you can save anywhere. You can get away with some... This game likes to drop enemies on you that just randomly fucking can kill you. Like, you just join a battle and then all of a sudden all your guys are mute and silenced and confused and can't do anything until they die. So being able to save anywhere, like, basically I save after every battle at this point because the game's so cheese that, that alone makes the game easier. Because, like, if you go into a dungeon, walk through the entire dungeon and then get killed by some random fucking bullshit enemy, you know, that's going to make you not want to play the game after that happens a few times. That actually happened to me in the last dungeon, and then I thought the dungeon was going to be really hard. And then I went and grinded for a long time to make sure I could heal the nonsense, because my guys got turned to stone. And then nothing happened the entire dungeon. Like, it never happened again. Nobody turned me to stone. Never used my magic to heal stone the entire dungeon. Just got unlucky the first time I stepped in it. So, I mean, basically shit like that in this game. This game has a lot of unpleasant stuff in it. Like, I'm just staring at myself dying from ice magic, which magic seems to do dick in this game. So, it's whatever. Are you ready for a montage of me bitching about this game? Montage! Don't worry, there's only 10, 11 more games of hearing this same music. Yes, we leveled up. Oh, it took 2 steps. So I have the entire Final Fantasy marathon planned at this point. I'm basically going to do 2 a month until Final Fantasy 12 Remastered comes out. Somewhere between now and then, I have to buy a PS4. Actually, before I get to Final Fantasy 10, I got to buy a PS4. But it's going to be like 3 and 4 next month, or 2 and 3 this month, 4 and 5 next month, then 6 and 7, 8 and 9 every month, so on, until 12. When 12 comes out, I should be ready for 12, which is in July. But I have a little wiggle room now because I'm ahead of doing 2 a month. I'm hoping that holds true till then, but I can see some of the games slowing me down. Like Final Fantasy VII, for instance, is going to slow me down. Final Fantasy X, it could be a nightmare to beat in a month. I mean, that game's a long fucking game. And I don't have any idea how long the sequel is. But it's okay if it pushes until later after July. That's perfectly fine. I just want to be close to that schedule by then, because I have to. I don't want to be like 1 Final Fantasy a month. Shit. I'm gonna probably fly through 4. 4. I don't know how long 5's gonna take. 4, probably beat 4 really quick. Barrel worm. Do a barrel worm. I'm hoping my blood blade does damage based on how much health this guy has. So if this guy's a badass, like he's actually hard, I should basically kill his ass. Oh, I missed. Well, fuck. 10 hits, nice. But, like, the blood sword doesn't do shit for most enemies. But when you get to the fucking, bosses, there it goes, 625 damage. Like, when you get to the bosses, it's a fucking boss killer. So, yeah, welcome to easy mode, folks. Like, the weapon's so overpowered, they took it out of... Well, they didn't take it out. You could get 2 of them in the earlier versions of the game. Like, this one, you can get 2 of them. But, you can only get 1 in this one. So, apparently, once I do this part of the game, the entire rest of the game gets harder. That's scary. That's a scary thought. Let's get some backup saves. I think I'm pretty much leveled up high enough to fucking brute force this game at this point, though. So we'll see.